Never forget, it was June in 2016, and I was a surrogate for Clinton, and Trump announced, "Hey, I'm showing up in a town called Menneson, which is a small steel town in the valley down from ours." And I'm like, why is he showing up in? I mean, that's not so. Either he's crazy or they've plugged into something. They figured out that they have to connect, and to make that kind of an argument, to go to these kind of places. And it did. It resonated.
That was Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman on the Joe Rogan podcast shortly before the 2024 election, discussing why he thought Donald Trump was able to win his state in 2016. In 2 years in the Senate, Fetterman has shown an independent streak. And more recently, he's been willing to meet in person with Trump's top cabinet picks, including embattled Defense Secretary nominee Pete Hegseth. And as we are first to report here this morning, he's also met with FBI pick Kash Patel. I met up with Senator Fetterman to discuss how he views his role as Donald Trump returns to Washington. So are you going to be...
I think this Senator Fetterman is a very truthful guy. He's an honest guy. He just knows exactly what's going on, and he truly appreciates that Trump is actually working for the country, actually working for the average American people. And he's probably asking himself what he's still doing in the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is the party of the elite, is the party of the donor class, and is not welcoming at all. Let's hear the interview.
Donald Trump's favorite Democrat in the Senate?
I don't know what that really means, because you never know. But what I am is I'm just a regular Democrat. I'm not leaving my party, but I'm not sure why some of the things that I've chosen to do, like meeting with nominees and having views that might be more aligned with some of the Republican side, I think that's part of politics, and that's pretty much consistent with just doing the job and representing the kind of state that we have in Pennsylvania.
Looking forward, what are you most optimistic about with a Trump presidency, and what do you fear?
Well, it's like I've been warning people, like, you got to chill out, like the constant, freak out. It's not helpful. So, pack a lunch, pace yourself, because he hasn't even taken office yet.
Do you think he has the potential to be a successful and a good president?
I hope, because I'm not rooting against him. If you're rooting against the president, you are rooting against the nation. And
I think he's great. I think he's totally right about that one. I think President Trump was elected by the American people, and now we should all rally with the president to make the country better and not get in his way. That's not the way to do it. That's not the way to improve things, and ultimately remove the huge barrier, the huge gap between the left and the right, and the divide. We want to unite and make the country better. Ultimately, that's what we want to do.
And I'm not ever going to be where I want a president to fail. So country first. I know it's become maybe like a cliche, but it happens to be truth.
What was the single biggest factor behind Kamala Harris and Democrats losing in November?
You have a singular political talent. It's undeniable.
Trump.
He had the energy and almost a sense of fearlessness to just say all those kinds of things. And people, it's undeniable that it has an entertaining aspect for that too. And just, if you're not afraid to say all of those things, and after you survived an assassination, you literally were shot in your head. Yeah. And had the presence of mind to respond, fight, fight, fight. I mean, that's a political talent. It's undeniable. And also, I never believed that it was about fascism. And for me, that made it difficult for
Kamala Harris said that he was a fascist.
Yeah, well, it's like that's her prerogative. I mean, but it's not a word that I would use, because you put a lot of Democrats, especially in my state, that I know, and I happen to love people that are going to vote for Trump, and they are not fascists.
That's good. That's good. I think many people voted for Trump this time around because they realized that the Democratic Party and Kamala Harris were not gonna help them at all in the next 4 years. Kamala Harris was basically the second person in power for 4 years, and look where the country was heading under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. So they wanted change. People ultimately wanted change, and they put Donald Trump back into the White House. And Fetterman right there, he is a very sensible man. He knows exactly what is best for the country. And he probably will rallied with Trump in the future. I believe so.
And also fascism. That's not a word that regular people, use. That, I think people are going to decide who is the candidate that's going to protect and project, my version of the American way of life. And that's what happened.
I talked to a lot of Democrats before the election who were saying, we're going to win, Harris is going to win in Pennsylvania. But you saw this coming.
If you live in Pennsylvania and you spend time in Red County, Pennsylvania, as much as I did, the support's astonishing. I mean, I was driving home from Indiana County at 9 o'clock, and there was a Trump superstore on the side of a road. 9 o'clock on Friday night, and people are buying swag. And then that really crystallized at the assassination. And that was in Butler County, Western Pennsylvania, fairly close to where I live. And the day or two later, you start seeing people wearing shirts with that iconic picture, and the energy and the anger, and it's like, wow, I really thought. In fact, I thought that might be ball game, and then the second thing really, and that's when Musk and I. We're in the business. Surrogacy is part of it, and sometimes it really has much of an impact.
Yeah, that's probably two of the most important things that helped Donald Trump win the election. First, it was the assassination attempt, who humanizes Donald Trump a lot. People saw how courageous he was, Donald Trump, to fight for his own life and fight for his own country. And many believe that he was spared by God. It was the hand of God that saved his life and put him back into the White House, and for the betterment of America, for the betterment of the American people, to do great things over the next 4 years. And of course, there is Elon Musk now, who is the richest man in the world, the most powerful man, influential man by the side of Donald Trump, and who was his biggest donor as well, at the head of the social media platform ex-Twitter. And who donated $217 million to Donald Trump's campaign to have him elected into the White House. So if you add both these factors, then you have a very, very explosive cocktail that made basically the Trump campaign explode in popularity and put Donald Trump back into the White House. That's what I believe.
But I knew that was going to be a special one. And
the endorsement by Elon Musk.
Yeah. Well, an endorsement and an active one, and I'm not even talking about his checkbook.
Yeah.
It's rare if you have a surrogate that has a lot of fanboys and is very compelling to a lot of the demographic that we are losing in our party and in Pennsylvania.
Do you think he would have won without Elon Musk?
Well, I'm not sure if we would have lost Bob Casey, but I do think Trump, it would have been closer. I really believe that it mattered. We lost Bob Casey for 15,000 votes. And I'm sure he did move the needle.
Of course he did. Without Elon Musk, the chance of Donald Trump winning would have been much, much less. Not only Elon Musk has a lot of fans, a lot of followers. He owns one of the biggest social media platforms. He has a lot of influence. He has a big voice online and elsewhere in business in Silicon Valley as well. And also he has a ton of money. He donated a lot of money to Donald Trump's campaign. Ultimately, Elon Musk, just as Kennedy and Tulsi Gabbard, they all rallied Trump. They went to the Republican side quite late into the campaign and allowed Donald Trump to win because the Democrats did not want them. They understood that Trump was the voice of reason, and the Democratic Party was not going to let them into the Democratic Party with their power and their influence. The Democrats wanted Kamala Harris ultimately, and it was a bad candidate. It was a bad choice. It was a bad choice for a candidate. Hopefully they learn from their mistakes and try and do better in 2028. Otherwise, they will probably lose again in 2028 to the Republican Party. Let's see what people are saying in the comment section. Country first, not party first. Yes. I agree. He's a great senator, a great politician. I love that he has a mind of his own and isn't afraid to say what he really thinks. Yeah, he is probably gonna be ostracized from the Democratic Party, from the Democrats as well, after an interview like this. Honestly, the Democrats don't want people like that into their party. If you don't follow the leadership of the party, you're gonna get ousted and very fast, and that's probably gonna happen to Mr. John Fetterman. Unfortunately, he's probably gonna go independent or even Republican, if you ask me. The good old days when they voted on the policies and not just by party. Yes, country first, Mr. Fetterman gets it. One of the few Democrats that seems to have common sense. God bless you, Mr. Fetterman. Truly, I am a Republican and I greatly appreciate politicians like Fetterman who put country first. Makes it so much easier to find a reasonable middle ground. Carry on the great work. Yes, I agree that most people who voted for Donald Trump are not Donald Trump's fan. They are not far-right people or fascist or Nazis. I don't think so. I think people just saw that Kamala Harris did bad things. It was a bad candidate. They don't want the Democrat to continue what they were doing over the past 4 years with the illegal immigration, with the rising cost of inflation, and with wars all over the world exploding everywhere. They wanted change, and so they put Donald Trump back into the White House. We will see what happens. We will see if Trump actually keeps all the promises that he made during his campaign, and if he actually can deliver on it and do great things for the country, America, and the American people. We will see and report it all right there on the channel. So thanks for watching and staying with me. I really appreciate you being here as always. Thanks for sticking with me to the end, and click right there to watch the next video, and I will see you there. Bye bye.